What's going on, you guys? It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing, baby, representing Team Kings of Games. Yo, and today I'm coming at you guys with an update for Noble Knights. I'm not sure if the Flame Noble Knight support is released yet, and even if it is, I don't have a way to get it. So I have to play my Noble Knight as is, as I've been playing them. Now, the route that I went, there's a lot of ways that you can play this deck, honestly. It's not like a one-trick pony. It is pretty flexible. Because Isolde is pretty generic, there's a ton of ways that you can make this, obviously. So you can even center your deck around turboing her out, basically like a similar to how Goki's played back in the day, or Dark Warrior, where you just ISO turbo. But the route I went is I basically went Madrout turbo. I felt that Madrout was the most consistent combo. You can't really get Madrout if you turbo ISO'd and then get Madrout, because you have to control other monsters. So I'm just playing it a little bit different. It's, that's why I said there's so many ways to play it. It's my preference. I find that the residuals, basically the residual advantage and basically beneficial resources that you get off of boards, which allow you to play past turn 1 and have all those follow-ups off of your until Noble Arms are needed again, is so much more impactful than just like trying to vomit out as many rank 4s as possible. And in the long run, consistency will normally outweigh power. That's why I really value the Madrout Turbo. When you're grinding against decks like Eldritch, consistency really will matter more than power sometimes, because decks can prevent you from OTKing them, and then you're forced into a grind game. And if your deck is more glass cannon than it should be, sometimes you can be losing games that you don't deserve to lose. So I just took the mid-range, basically the mid-range approach to this deck, and I like it. I have so many ways to access Madrout, and that's how I want to start my combo. But obviously when the Flame Noble Knights come out, things might change, you never know. But let's go ahead and get into the deck profile. We'll start with the main. We're rocking 3 copies of Morgan the Enchantress of Abalon. This basically is the Call by the Grave of the deck. Anytime your opponent would hand trap you is when you have the requirements for her to be able to resolve her effect. She is an Omni Negate. The only thing that sucks about her is she's not searchable. That's why I play 3 of her. I know she's hard once per turn, but there's no way to search her, so you have to literally hard draw into her for you to even be able to use her. So that's why I like playing 3. If you don't play 3, it's like, for me, dang, what's the point of you even playing her? Because you won't really see her unless it's off of the Until Noble Arms are needed again, but I like seeing her turn 1. So you're playing the 3 Morgans. She's the only card in the deck that doesn't really have synergy with the combo pieces. So let's go ahead and get her out the way. But she's going to make sure that anything can go through. Then we're playing 3 Madrouts. This is the start of the deck. I'm trying to get into boars. Even outside of boars, you can even, for example, Madrout into Ivan, Ivan into a token, and then use the token in the Ivan to summon the Isold. Use Isold to summon out another monster. Madrout can literally be a 1-card Isold plus a rank 4. And the cool thing with Madrout, when you start with your combo with him, you don't have to use any for the rest of the turn clause effects, where you can summon generic rank 4s under his effect. Because he doesn't say for the rest of the turn you can only special summon Noble Knights. If you summon other cards and use other effects, you will have that for the rest of the turn or during the turn clause. But starting out with Madrout also allows you to make generic. So he's just so powerful. And obviously the most ideal target for me personally is boars, so that I can reveal 3 of this bad boy, get 1 to my hand, and have 2 engraved, so that I have constant follow-ups. Because 3 of these engraved, goodness gracious, you don't even have to draw good cards. You can continue to just generate advantage, making plays, just by banishing these and summoning different named Noble Knights from your deck. It's crazy. So Madrout, for me, is just the way. I'm also playing 3 copies of Merlin. Obviously, this card is not as, like I said, it's not as mainstream. People have elected to not play Merlin anymore because it's susceptible to disruptions. But honestly, this deck naturally is susceptible to disruptions in general. So if you're scared of Merlin, not being able to go off, you can play 3 Gammas. You can even play 3 Call Bys if you're really that scared. But for me, I just like Merlin a lot. It gives me quicker access to Madrout. It does put me under restriction, which I don't like, but it gives me access to Madrout. And for me, I need to access Madrout while I control no monsters. So that's why I like Merlin. It's just a thing for me, It's not about the euphoria necessarily. It's like the card is really, really good. The thing is, Ash can hurt it, right? But there are a lot of combos that can be crippled by an Ash Blossom, and that's just the thing, If your opponent has it, they have it. But I really do like the Merlin. And then the 3 copies of Heritage of the Chalice. Like I said, it's Madrout Turbo, so I'm showing all the cards that get access to Madrout. And then the 1 Rhoda. And if your combo does get disrupted by, for example, a Jackal King, a Cypher Gear Gamma, anything that negates and destroys, even a Solemn Strike, you can easily activate a Last Chapter, and this becomes your Madrout all over again. So for me, these are basically my 12 Madrouts. I like it, and I do like the last chapter of the Noble Knights in this list in particular because it allows me to play going second when I start my combo off with Madrout. I activate my equip, attempt his effect, they negate it. I'm like, dang, he's gone, you know? I can activate the last chapter again. Or if they even just Ash, I can easily just, you know, attack, get him engraved, and activate this again. So for me, it's just more Madrouts. I like it. This is my player preference. I really do like the way that this played because this deck's able to play past turn 1, and it gets so much advantage. It snowballs out of control with those until Noble Arms are needed again. That trap is just really, really powerful, you guys. We're playing 3 copies of Brothers, 2 copies of Ivan, 3 Cussonins, 3 Gawains. These cards naturally are either extenders or starters, so these are basically more optimal. These basically are more optimal paired with the Madrout, your Cussonin and your Gawain. How you can make sure Madrout resolves is when because you only have to control normal. So when you resolve Madrout, you obviously destroy the equip spell. So he's no longer equipped, so that means he's back to being a normal monster. So you can summon your Gawain because you control a light normal monster. Because remember, Madrout's only an effect monster while he's equipped. As soon as he just resolves his effect, he destroys the equip spell. He's no longer an effect monster, he's no longer equipped, you can special your Gawain. The same thing with Cussonin, because you summon out your Boars, you know, you destroy the equip, it gets re-equipped to Boars, and then you can just special out your Cussonin after you resolve Madrout. So these cards become extenders even when paired with Madrout. It's just the sequence on how you play your cards. The Ivan is kind of like one of the weaker ways because it does have that restriction. The same thing with Brothers. So these are starters, but they're weaker starters because you can't make generics. So when you're going first, obviously, you can't make your Dweller, your Tornado, your Baguska, or anything of that nature. But going second, it's okay because you want to make your Noble Knight XYZs going second because they do break boards. So these cards are just pivotal. Cussonin does give you that extra normal summon so that you can normal summon a Brothers special too. It just lets you spam the board. So it's a definitive extender by nature, and it also is a problem-solving card. It's a powerful card. You want to play 3 Cussonins. I'm playing 2 copies of Boars. The reason why I play the 2 Boars is because whenever I draw 1 Boars turn 1 paired with, you know, my optimal hand, I'm no longer able to special him from my deck off of Madrout. So I kind of lose the value that I desire. So that's why I'm playing the 2 Boars. You honestly can just play 1, easily recycle him off Brothers. You know, he's searchable too, but just playing 1, it's kind of like the Predaplant, kind of like the Darlingtonia Cobra thing, where it's like you draw the brick. Not the brick, but you draw the target to resolve the effect the way you want to. So that's why I play the 2 Boars. I played 1 Pellinor. This is just a personal preference. I like Pellinor. It's a really strong card. Dristan is honestly broken in this deck. It really is. You can just literally like lock your opponent. And then Ector. Ector is another one of the extenders of the deck, but also at the same time, because I don't play the other level 5, because, you know, Summon Sorceress is banned, so it's not that optimal. He doesn't really have that much value for your XYZ plays. He's really just for summoning Isolde mainly. You know, you do get your monsters to turn into Dark level 5, so you can easily summon this guy, you know, and just make a rank 5, but that's not really that optimal. And then I'm playing, obviously, Gwynnifer. You know, she's awesome, you guys. She really is. She gives some good protection. So for the equip spells, I'm playing 2 Glory. Glory is any equip spell you want it to be, and it allows you to disrupt your opponent's plays. Via Dristan, if you don't have the Morgan, you can summon Dristan off the trap, you know, equip Dristan, get an effect, pop, and then lock your opponent. Protect your board. This deck kind of is Protected Castle sometimes. You can go second though, especially when Pure Thunder was a thing. This deck was able to break those boards. I got first place undefeated with this deck when Thunder was just like everywhere. 2 copies of Excalibur, 2 copies of Noble Arms of Destiny. Now Excalibur and Destiny provide the best protection. We play 1 Caliburn, 1 Gallatin, 1 Arthur Dieter, however you pronounce it, and 1 Clarion. When the Flame Noble Knight support comes out, if it's already out, correct me, you know, if you need to. But if it's already out, then I really need to get it. But when it does come out, the equip spells are definitely going to change. The entire deck's going to change, but as is right now, this is how I'm rocking it. And I am playing 1 copy of Double or Nothing. It's really easy to steal wins with this card in this deck. 3 copies of Until Noble Arms Are Needed again. You just really do want to play 3. This card is just amazing, you guys. If you play hand traps, it allows you to just RNG to hand traps. It allows you to hit your Morgan, and it's just a +1 and a follow-up every time. So it's just so good, you guys. It's a really, really powerful card. Now for the extra deck, I'm playing 2 Isolde. I think this is correct. You can play an extravagance list and just max out on Isolde, but I think 2 is correct. You want 1 just in case it gets interrupted or anything happens. You want the second one, but basically you want 1 for turn 1 and another for turn 2 because you're not always going to be able to recycle it off of Brothers every single time. So 2 is like the perfect ratio for me. We have 2 copies of Arturagus and 2 copies of Baby Arthur. Now This card, I will say, is just super duper powerful, even for your own archetype, because you can pop your equips and re-equip them to what you need. So he can be an active combo piece. He's just like one of the strongest ranked 4s you can summon in this deck, like high key. We're playing 2 copies of Custonin. Custonin is powerful, you guys. Custonin is a problem-solving card. It's like, dang, you can only pop monsters, that's it? No, now you can spin them, and this card floats, so it gives you longevity too. For generics, we're playing Bagooska, Tornado, Dweller. These are basically for your turn 1 plays. For going second, you have Castel. Even though Custonin bounces, bouncing back to the hand can be a problem. Like if it's a Pendulum monster, you know, if it's like Eldritch, you know, you don't always want to bounce it back to the hand. You want to be able to shuffle it. And then Utopia and Utopia Double for going second, and also Exciton Knight for going second. You can summon generics, you just have to play your cards right, which route does not restrict you, like I said. Just play your cards right, and you'll be able to summon things, because there are, for the rest of the turn, clauses, which means you can actually summon cards like these and then go into the lock after that. But the deck is going to change when its new support finally comes out, you guys, and I'll be able to play a different list. But for right now, this is basically mid-range Noble Knights, you guys. Instead of like a crazy turbo deck, you know, mid-range Noble Knights is the way for me. And I value the grind game. I like being able to have progressive resources that, like, dude, you don't even have to draw a good card. This will progress your game state over and over and over. Summoning Brothers, you know, summoning out a copy of Boars, you know, summoning out a Custonin to extend your plays. You know, it's just, this trap, dude. But Drought and Boars is like the wave for me. That's the way to go. Like, for me, that's just, it's the most longevity, you guys. But thank you guys so much for watching the deck profile. God bless you guys. Make good choices. Don't hurt your brain cells. Stay tuned for future content. I'm going to say a quick prayer. If you don't want to hear the prayer, just go ahead and skip past that part. But our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Jesus. Thy kingdom come, and thy will be done on earth just as it is in heaven. Please give us this day our daily bread, Lord, and please forgive us of our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, Father, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the glory, and the power forever. In the mighty name of Jesus, I pray. Thank you, Heavenly Father. Amen. All right, you guys. Deuces is wild, yo.